Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Around the Slice Entertainment YouTube channel. I am here today for another review. The last couple videos, we've done movie reviews like Superman and Jurassic World Rebirth, but today we're going to go over to the TV side of things and review MCU show Ironheart that released on Disney+. So, as usual, how these reviews are formatted, I'm going to go over what I liked about the show, what I didn't like about the show, and then give you a formal score out of 10, as I always like to do. And then just for fun, I'll throw in at the end, I have compiled a list, stack them up against each other. I'm going to rank all the MCU shows from worst to best, go in reverse order that we've gotten up to this point. So without further ado, let's just dive in and get right into it. So before we get into the nitty gritty, if you will, of this review, dislikes, likes, and all that fun stuff and all that jazz, I want to get two caveats out of the way about the show that I questioned, if you will. Those two things are release timing of the show and when it was released, and format of how these episodes released across the couple weeks. So when I say timing, number one, when I say timing of the show, Ironheart, this show, in my opinion, should have came out in December of 2022, not 2.5 years later in June of 2025. Because if you recall, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, the sequel to the highly acclaimed Black Panther, came out in November of 2022. And that's where Riri Williams, Ironheart, made her official theatrical debut, or debut in general, rather, I should say, in the MCU as a whole. And trust me, I am the biggest Black Panther fan there is. I love the world of Wakanda. I love the whole world building. I love the scenery. But I can't lie that people would be more hooked if this came out within a month after, weeks after Wakanda Forever, and people would still have Black Panther on their brain. So I think, I don't want to say diminish the series, but people kind of forgot about Black Panther because it was so long ago. And like, if Riri was introduced as Ironheart in this movie, then why didn't this show come out and build on the momentum of that? That's number one. Number two, the whole formatting of this release schedule was kind of stupid, in my opinion, when Kevin Feige and Marvel and Ryan Coogler, attached as an EP executive producer, kind of made it like this. Because let me break it down. There's 6 total episodes, which there's a red flag right there in this show. Episodes 1 through 3 came out 1 week, and then the very next week, episodes 4 through 6 came out. Done. That's only 2 weeks of content. There's no build up over a 4 or 5 or 6 week stretch. There's no theory videos coming out in between weeks. 3 episodes 1 week, 3 episodes that week's. Boom, we're over. I don't know if Marvel didn't have confidence that this would perform well on Disney Plus in terms of streaming numbers. I don't know if they just wanted to get it out of the way. I don't know what the deal was there, but that philosophy is stupid. That's not a lot of content, and that content release schedule, in my opinion, was very much flawed. Anyway, that's just the two quick caveats, if you will. I wanted to preface it, get out of the way. My positives, I always start with the positives, even like if my score is kind of on the lower end, I always start with the positives. I know Riri Williams, when she was first introduced in Black Panther, and then this show, Wakanda Forever, people are not the biggest fan of her character. Dominique Thorne, the actress, nothing wrong there. They just don't like how mean-spirited the character is. Personally, I thought Riri Williams, and then her suit with Ironheart, I thought she was a really charismatic lead actress in this role. I thought her character interacted very well with the whole world, very well with the Chicago scenery, very well with her family, everyone around her. You saw emotion from her throughout the series. You saw her get angry. You saw her get upset. You saw her cry. You got get sad. So range of emotions. I thought Riri Williams, Ironheart, and then when she goes into her suit to become Ironheart, whenever that happened, I thought that was a really fun dynamic. And then I will touch on specifically of a character that she had a really great dynamic with, in my opinion. All the scenes with Riri Williams and the AI Natalie were really sweet and heartwarming. Obviously, spoilers here. Watch all my review of spoilers. I find it really hard to talk about shows and movies with being very vague. No spoilers. She obviously loses her best friend in a drive-by shooting, her best friend and her stepdad. So she accidentally becomes the very much like the AI Natalie that she brings back. It's almost like she has her best friend back again. I thought all the interactions between Riri and the AI Natalie were very, very cool, very charming. I thought both of them worked really well together. To me, that's the highlight of the show, the dynamic between Riri and the AI Natalie. Very touching stuff. And then so obviously magic in the MCU goes back to the 2 Doctor Strange movies. I like Doctor Strange. I think it's a forgotten origin story. I think people just brush it by like, whatever. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. It had potential. I just think it was too jumbled and was hurt like by like its literal multiversal name. But I love that they included magic here in the show. Sure, would I have liked, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Would I have enjoyed if they would dive into it more? Why did they include magic? What did they need to use it for? I'll get to that with my negatives, but just baseline, including magic. I think the magical side of the MCU is something that Marvel needs to lean into even more because we have all these stupid scrolls, the Secret Invasion. We have all these multiversal kind of tribes. I really want them to lead into magic more, explore Dormammu more. Have Doctor Strange make a cameo appearance, which it would have been really cool if in the shop when they were doing the whole magic stuff, if Doctor Strange made a brief appearance. But I really like that they introduced magic. I have my issues with how it was explored or lack thereof exploration, but just baseline, I really like it. Now, Parker Robbins as a villain, I found him to be really intimidating and mysterious. We just don't know a lot about him, and that's okay because that's what you want with a villain in the MCU. Now, trust me, I have my issues with how Parker / the Hood was written. I have my issues with how his character what his character ended up being by the end of the show. But just baseline value, Parker Robbins, I think at least, is an intimidating villain. I really like his dialogue. He's very conniving. He's very sneaky. He takes a very much leadership role, whether it's with the team, whether it's confronting Riri, whether it's confronting, spoiler again here, Joe, who ends up being Ezekiel Stane, Obadiah Stane's son from the original Iron Man, which Alden Ehrenreich, side note, just phenomenal performance. He's kind of forgotten in this whole kind of average show. So I really like Parker Robbins. Some choices I wish were better, but baseline value, I really like how mysterious and conniving of a villain he is. Especially when he gets that hood on, I really like the whole like magical element of the show. Now we get into the negatives, and I'm gonna start with Parker Robbins / the Hood, just because I just touched on it. His entire team felt lackluster and extremely uninteresting to me. Every single one of them. I didn't really care about any of these characters. I didn't really care if they succeeded or failed. I think they're all just like a ragtag team, and none of them are really explored. Like, again, when John dies, Parker's cousin, when John dies at the end of episode 3 by the hands of Riri and the toxic fumes and the carbon monoxide or whatever it was in that one shop, you don't really feel his death. Like, it has no really impact on the team. It has no really impact on us as a viewer. It has no really impact on you as a viewer. It just is what it is. Like, oh, well, John died. We have all these other kind of pointless characters. So I thought Parker's actual team, not including Riri, because she's like kind of on again, off again with the team. But every single one of them, I don't even know what they're called. The game, I don't know. But Misfit Criminals, whatever the hell they're called, they could have been explored much better. They had no stakes. Like, John's death, I keep bringing it up. John's death had no stakes. I don't know. These are kind of like throwaway characters. Specifically in episode 5, where kind of like Parker freaks out and Clown, and he puts the hood on and goes after her, and then he says, "Get out." I thought for sure Clown and the rest of the gang were going to go to Riri to help take down Parker, but nope. After the end of episode 5, we just don't see them in the family. We never see them again. In the MCU, they're going to be totally forgotten. So they had no stakes, and I don't really care about them. I'm not saying you need to develop every single one of them, but like, they're just throwaway characters. And then certain plot points felt very underdeveloped to me in this show. I talked about how, let me see here. I talked about how magic, baseline value, magic was included. I really enjoyed that, but they could develop the characters even more. Maybe a Doctor Strange appearance here and there. Maybe like, why are you using magic? Like, how does magic pertain to Riri? How does magic pertain to Ironheart? How are you going to take down Parker Robbins? How are you going to take down the Hood with magic? I don't know. It just felt like, oh, we got magic to build off the Doctor Strange hype, and they never really explored it. So yeah, this is just a personal thing for me. I wish that there were more references and nods to the world of Wakanda in the two Black Panther movies as a whole. I'm not saying you have to go directly back to Wakanda and be there the whole time, but they never really reference any of the characters from the movie. They never really reference any of the lines from the movie, the world as a whole. And this is Ironheart. Ironheart was revealed, made her MCU debut, Riri Williams, Ironheart, in a Black Panther movie in Wakanda Forever. So I don't understand why there's no references or nods to that. Now I know they had the little stupid Shuri thing. I call it stupid because that was just more played off as a joke between Riri and the AI Natalie. Like I want legit references. Like maybe some if Shuri was referenced, as much as I don't like it played off as a joke, you might as well just bring her back for a cameo. I would have loved to see some of the Wakandan warriors maybe come and help take down Parker. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. But if there is a season 2, which honestly I don't care if there is or not, this was only 6 episodes, so like whatever. But they're setting up for season 2. We'll see, because at the end, spoiler alert, Mephisto shows up, and then he's got Riri under his trance now, if you will. So I don't know. I just felt like more references and nods and subtle hints to Wakanda and Black Panther and the world of Wakanda as a whole was very much needed. But I realize that's a personal thing just because of my love for those movies. Specifically, the first one's perfect in my opinion. So, that would have been enjoyable to see and feel. This show, I hate to say it, but in the grand scheme of things, it felt like a waste of time in the MCU. In the grand scheme of things, it's kind of just a throwaway show, and that will reflect in my score, which I'll get to in a minute or two. And this ties to my final point, and I hated this about the show. I do mean to be harsh here, because you got to put it bluntly from the MCU. We deserve better finales in these freaking stupid shows. This was an absolutely awful, inexcusably terrible finale. I'm sorry. It just was. The thing I could not get over is they were hyping up this huge battle for 2 or 3 episodes between Riri in her Ironheart suit and Parker Robbins in the Hood. And then when they get to the actual battle, it's like the stupid Morbius battle, and it takes 1 or 2 minutes tops, if that. It was embarrassingly rushed. It was embarrassingly bad. I thought the dialogue in the finale was really horrible. I thought the whole plot point of through line of the battle was really horrible. The battle was the most hyped up thing. And it just felt like it was just kind of patched together by Kevin Feige and his team. Like, well, we want this battle to get over with as soon as possible. It just cheapened the value of it. And then they put Mephisto in there at the very end. I would have seen like an episode. I would have loved to see an episode or 2 dedicated to just him and his background. But nope, we got to have this rushed final battle. I'm sorry. Inexcusable. Terrible. Awful finale. My final score, unfortunately, it felt like a waste. It's at least passing, right? It's 60%, above 50%. 6 out of 10 for me. I think 7 would have been too high and 5 would have been too low. So it's mediocre, right? It's decent. I mean, if you want to throw it on in the background while you're working, fine. But this isn't something like, oh my God, if I miss this, I'm going to have a lot of problems in the MCU going. No, this has no consequence. If I said it before, unfortunately, it felt like a waste of time in the MCU. Now let's get to the fun part. My updated MCU show rankings as of July of 2025. So as of right now. Two things here. 2 shows that I'm not going to include. Number 1, Echo, because 1, I have no interest to see it. 2, it's only 4 episodes, and people say it's a waste of time. And number 2, I'm not including What If, because I've only seen about half of episode of season 1, and that was like 3 years ago. And honestly, that's just like fun adventures anyway. So I don't feel obligated to include that or even watch it. Number 11. Absolute worst. I don't want to say anything is absolutely horrible and anything's just garbage, but Secret Invasion was just garbage. I don't want to hear about Skrulls in the MCU ever again. They're completely pointless to me, and I will never, ever forgive Marvel for the Rhodey, quote-unquote, twist. I mean, it was so horribly rushed. Just a lot of plot points. The writing in the show was stupid. The dialogue in the show was stupid. So, yeah. Number 10, Ironheart. Again, 6 out of 10. Fun enough show, but I thought there was a lot of problems, and unfortunately, it had a really awful ending. awful finale. Number 9, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This is one of 2 shows that I think is overrated in the MCU these days. I thought the Flag Smashers were like a preschool level villain team. What I mean by that is they were embarrassingly like horribly written. Like, I don't remember any of them. What was the leader of them? Carla or something? I have no freaking clue. The Flag Smashers really were not at all interesting. And by the end, in the finale, Captain America, Sam Wilson just became too preachy, talking to us as an audience. So, I don't know. Number 8, Moon Knight. This is another one of the 2 where I think is overrated. I like Moon Knight. I like the first few episodes. I like the tone of it, the whole Egyptian mythology stuff. I think Khonshu is an excellent villain. I want to see him get more exploration of his character and him as a whole in the MCU. But in my opinion, the last 2 or 3 episodes, it unraveled with the whole, Hippo saving them in the hospital, going back in time, Ethan Hawke's character, just, the writing in the last few episodes got off the rails, in my opinion. Number 7, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, or just She-Hulk as people call it. People say, oh, this is garbage. This is Secret Invasion level garbage. No, I actually liked it. Is it the best thing ever? No, but it's fun weekly adventures. If you detach this from the MCU, which I know is hard to do, but if you detach this from the MCU and look at it as a flavor of the week show, it's just a general sitcom, a general show by itself, it's actually surprisingly good. So I think you should do that. 6, Agatha All Along. People say it got better as time went on after the first 2 or 3 episodes. I actually think the first 2 or 3 episodes are the best of the series, and then it got a little progressively worse. But my favorite episode is Wiccan's backstory, how he got to Agatha the day he meets Agatha. So I thought that was really incredible, that episode specifically. 5, Daredevil Born Again. I like this episode series. I wanted to love it. Now, I've never seen the original Netflix Daredevil, so there's that context. But I think after the first 2 or 3 episodes, there's way too many plot points going on. This feels overstuffed world. And I know with Matt Murdock, the bank heist episode was really good. For a regular show, though, for Daredevil Born Again, it felt completely out of place, completely out of whack, totally out of left field, if you will. So, yeah. Number 4, WandaVision. I like the sitcom nature of this. I like how the aesthetic and how it feels old-timey show. But I think this show hasn't aged very gracefully, if you will, what have you. Because what I mean by that is I think WandaVision was held up by the week-to-week theories on the YouTube side of things, on the Twitter side of things. What's going to happen next week? What's going to happen this week with this old-timey sitcom? I don't think it's aged very gracefully. I think it was held up at the time for a lot of theory videos, and I think because it was the very first Disney Plus show. 3, Miss Marvel. I know people are going to say it kind of got off the rails when they went to, where did they go? I can't remember. Pakistan? I can't remember. Somewhere over there. And it got too globetrotting. People want to see it self-contained in New Jersey. But I actually love the globetrotting nature of that. I actually love exploring more of her Indian and Pakistani heritage. So that's really incredible to see. And the flashback scenes are really, really awesome in that show as well. Number 2, Hawkeye. I wish this had more episodes. Hawkeye is a character, someone I've always really loved. The Christmas vibe, the Christmas feel of this whole show. I just think it's a family-friendly, good, well-rounded show. And 1 and 2 were close for me. Number 1, Loki. I don't know how, but I haven't caught up on season 2 yet from almost 2 years ago now. But based off of season 1, Loki is still my number 1 show in the MCU as of July 2025, as of right now. So anyways, guys, that was my review for Ironheart. I gave you what I liked. I gave you what I didn't like. I gave you my final score. Then I compared it and stacked all 11 of the MCU shows, caveats of What If and Echo, of course, because I don't really care. Anyways, guys, what upcoming content can you look forward to on this Around the Slice Entertainment YouTube channel? Well, we have reviewed Superman. Yesterday, we reviewed Jurassic World Rebirth. That video is performing very well. I very much appreciate you guys for that. But in terms of what's to come, I'm going to check out Justice League Unlimited, so you're going to get a JLU First Impressions video. I'm hoping that will make me feel like a kid again with the Saturday morning vibe. And then, as I keep mentioning, I'm finishing off the 3rd and final season of Avatar, The Last Airbender, Atla, if you will, and then we can review that and stack up all the seasons together. It's going to be so much fun. I'm having so much fun with that show. And then, lastly, for upcoming content playing right now, early next week, most likely I'm going to have a ranking of all 7 now that Rebirth is out, all 7 Jurassic movies. So that's going to be a ton of fun. Coming back to this channel for news, notes, rankings, all that fun jazz. So anyways, guys, I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you for coming to this Ironheart Disney Plus review with me, and I will see you next time. Quickly, let me know in the comments down below. What did you think of Ironheart? What would you give it out of 10? And most importantly, how would you stack it up against other MCU shows? What shows is it worse than, in your opinion? What shows is it better than, in your opinion? Is it just mediocre? Let me know all that down in the comments below. I will see you guys next week for that next video, Jurassic ranking. And yeah, have a great day. I appreciate you as always. Bye.